Hi guys, I want to do a presentation today for everybody on the Steemit community about DigiByte Blockchain. The ones that have been following my blog will have realised over the last few weeks I've been doing a lot of work on the DigiByte and explaining to people why I believe the DigiByte blockchain is one blockchain for people to look out for. So again, this presentation is for the people on the in the Steemit community. The video will be posted onto YouTube, and of course if you're watching on YouTube you can check all the information on steemit.com, and that's my my blog, Stephen Kendal. The presentation, obviously we've got the contents, so of course I'm going to be starting off with a quick disclaimer. Then obviously I want to talk about what is blockchain for the ones that are still struggling to understand what the distributed ledger is. So very quickly we'll go through what is blockchain. Why DigiByte? Why I'm so passionate about DigiByte? Four key areas, four key points that I want to talk about. I then want to talk about the timeline, the 200,000 nodes that the blockchain is running on the network, the 5 algorithm mining that gives its securability. I also want to talk about the comparison between Bitcoin and DigiByte and the transactions and the various fundamentals. I also want to talk about the DigiByte community, the active social media DigiByte community, a social media presence and the social media network, and of course the price and the trend. A disclaimer, a very quick disclaimer, so obviously get the boring bits out the way. Please know that obviously this information in this presentation is purely for educational purposes only and should not be taken as investment advice. There are other cryptocurrencies and blockchain projects available, and of course some of this information in this presentation has been taken from the DigiByte website. So that gets all the formalities out of the way. What is blockchain? Well, for the ones that are still struggling to understand what the blockchain is and the distributed ledger technology, think of it as a store of information or a store of data that is locked into a block of information. Now that block of information is effectively tagged at the beginning and at the end with effectively like a thumbprint, a digital thumbprint to lock in the information. The information can be data, smart contracts, transactions, anything of information that is distributed through the network, agreed through the network, and then effectively locked into a block and then gets digitally stamped. Now, one of the things that I always try and do is, I suppose, is going back to my my construction days. I try and explain to people that in theory, what a blockchain is like building a block, a tower of blocks. So of course you start off with block number 1, and then you build up your block, and each one of those blocks contains the information that is agreed and stored on the network. So let's say you drop in block number 57, that block of information will be dropped in, agreed. You then continue building your tower, and of course let's say block number 57, you then want to change the information in block 57. Well, what you'd have to do is you can't just change the information, you have to put the amendments in and agree the amendments, distribute the amendments, and effectively that becomes then another block. So all the information is locked into the blockchain, and that is what gives the blockchain its effectively its value. And of course here we're building the DigiByte blockchain. Now, why DigiByte? Again, a lot of people have been asking me just recently, well, why am I so passionate about DigiByte? Well, there is 3 areas that you know, you can get this information off their website. It's effectively the most secure. It's locking in security, which is a massive thing with the fundamentals of the DigiByte blockchain. I'll talk about the algorithm mining, but as far as I'm concerned, it's got probably one of the most secure. So that is a fundamental part of the blockchain that I'm a big fan of and very passionate about. Then of course we've got the transaction speed. I've been talking a lot about the transaction speed. It's got a transaction speed approximately 40 times of Bitcoin. And then of course the way it's been developed, if you go back to its its roots and how the DigiByte blockchain has been developed over the last 4.5 years, you'll understand that it's all about the development side of it. So those are the key areas that obviously I'd like you to look on at the on their website. And the 4 key points that I'd just like to pick up on. Effectively, when the DigiByte blockchain was released, there was no ICO. There was never effectively a raising of capital at the beginning, and that for me is very fundamental. It started with nothing, and it's been created. Its value has been locked into the blockchain. So there's not a lot of people understand that to start off with no ICO and of course build up the blockchain as it is. It's been going 4.5 years, and that's quite fundamental. So there was no ICO. There's the multi-algorithm mining, the 5 algorithms that I've talked about, and we'll be touching on again. It's got manageable units, and this is quite critical, this. There will be capped at 21 billion coins at the moment. We mine just over 10.5 billion. So it's effectively 1,000 manageable units than Bitcoin. Well, of course, because it's got such manageable units and it's got a lightning transaction speed, you can see where the fundamentals are going to start building up in time. And of course, one of the things that I'm very interested in is that it's got a very active community, a very active social community of DigiByte users. Now the timeline, if you go back to the original beginning, it was created, it was officially launched on the 10th of January 2014, and you can see the various different hard forks that have happened. A lot of the hard forks was in its early infancy, it's in its early days, so a lot of the work had been done by the end of 2015. So again, we're talking of a blockchain that has got a lot of history, a lot of provability, and has been going around a lot longer than a lot of people realise. Now, at the moment, there's over 200,000 nodes distributed throughout the world. And again, the size of the blockchain and the way that the blockchain is actually being managed. A lot of people underestimate the actual development that has been done and the engagement that has been made on the DigiByte blockchain. So again, if you get a chance, pop on the website. You'll get all the information on there, but you can understand my my belief as why this is actually has got some superb potential. Now, I mentioned earlier on the 5 algorithms. Effectively, what we've got on the DigiByte blockchain is something pretty unique. Effectively, there's 5 simultaneous algorithms running side by side in effect, and that gives it a hell of a security when it comes to locking in secure parts or fundamentals of the blockchain. So again, when people talk of the Bitcoin blockchain, the 1 algorithm blockchain, you're talking of a completely different fundamental with the DigiByte blockchain. And when people understand, how powerful the 5 algorithms have to the development of the blockchain and the blockchain value, you'll understand why, again, that is something that I'm very, very, very conscious and very passionate about. Now, as far as I'm concerned, when you're comparing Bitcoin to DigiByte, you're really looking at various different parts. Now, the transaction speed alone, it's 40 times faster than Bitcoin. But it's not just the transaction speed, it's the scalability that that Bitcoin can have. So again, so that DigiByte can have. So again, if you get a chance, pop on their website, have a real good look at all of this information, and you'll understand You know, when you have something like DigiByte, and I was down in London with Steph a few weeks ago, and I mentioned DigiByte as a coin that is effectively undervalued, but really, if you think of DigiByte as not a cryptocurrency, but more of a crypto asset, you're effectively trading a crypto asset. And of course, I think what's going to happen in the future, because of its speed, it's going to be used on multiple levels for multiple transactions. And because of the speed of the DigiByte blockchain, you know, the scalability is phenomenal. So, you know, if you get a chance, pop on the website, you'll get a lot more information off there. This is obviously is meant to be just an overview. One of the areas that I really want to talk about today is the active community, the DigiByte active community. Now, recently, about 7 weeks ago on Twitter, I kicked off a hashtag Steam Talent. And the intention of hashtag Steam Talent was to look and identify specific talent that is available and bring them and introduce them to the Steemit community. And one of the communities that I was pretty impressed with is the active DigiByte community. Now, over the last few weeks, I've been doing some estimating figures as to what I believe is the size of the DigiByte community. And I got to about 150,000, and really, I think that the figure is higher. So, you know, just to give you a comparison as to, you know, the size of the Steemit active community, I think we're probably talking between 3 and 4 times the size of the active Steemit community compared to the size of the active DigiByte community. And one of the areas that I've picked up on is a group of guys who have just formed a group in on Twitter, and they're effectively called hashtag DGB Awareness Team AT. Great bunch of guys, and if you get a chance, pop on, see what these guys are hopefully trying to do. And then what they're trying to do is pull together the group of active people, and these are really passionate guys. So if anybody from the DigiByte awareness team is watching this, a massive big shout out to you guys. I've been watching what you guys have been doing these last few weeks, and I really have been impressed. So if you get a chance, if anybody's on Steemit and they go on to Twitter, you'll get a bit of an understanding as to why I'm pretty passionate about the size of the DigiByte community. Now, social media, obviously at the moment, is changing, and it's changing very rapidly. You know, there's a lot of people that are understanding the fundamental flaws of Facebook, and one of the things that I've noticed on the DigiByte website is obviously, you know, they've got a presence on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, GitHub, LinkedIn, and of course Reddit. Now, what I would like to try and encourage is the 150,000 active users that are effectively in the DigiByte community to migrate onto Steemit and start bringing, you know, all this content of, you know, all the things that they're talking about, you know, anything on the development side. So it'll be great to see effectively Steemit fit in on the social media of DigiByte. So the whole idea of this presentation is to reach out to everybody in Steemit and try and understand, you know, recently I've been talking about a killer project, and when I talk about a killer project, I'm not talking of onboarding ones or tens or hundreds or thousands. I'm talking of onboarding in the tune of 10,000 plus at a time. And you can understand why I'm so passionate about possibly getting a community like DigiByte, 100,000, all coming to Steemit, all sharing and blogging and talking about DigiByte. You know, this is the sort of thing that we should be targeting. So if you get a chance, go on their website. All the information's on there as to what these guys are up to, and of course the price and the trend. I run, as some of you may well follow, I run a mapping technology which effectively tracks moving averages. So you can see, you know, up until probably 2015, it wasn't doing much. Then, of course, then it started to shoot up. And at the moment, it's trading at just under 4 cents. And it seems to be locking in around about the 4 cents mark. So, you know, you can see it's starting to come up a little bit. But as far as I'm concerned, the overall trend is very much intact and is still going up. So if you get a chance, you know, check on some of my blogs that I've been talking about DigiByte and the moving averages. And then, of course, any questions. If there's any questions that you guys have and you'd like to mention or talk about it, drop them in the comments below on the blog. This video, this introductory, is purely a snapshot. You know, the DigiByte blockchain has been going now for over 4.5 years, and to sort of like contain all that information into a 15-16 minute video wasn't going to be an easy task. So this video was purely to reach out into the Steemit community and hopefully help explain why over the last few weeks I've been trying to, you know, get you guys to engage with the possibility of onboarding ineffectively 150,000 active users from DigiByte. And if we can get DigiByte Community to effectively start looking at the Steemit platform as a way of blogging and sharing and talking and meeting up, you know, once you start bringing communities over from the cryptocurrency world, I mentioned in a recent interview that I had with Josh Sigerson of World Alternative Media. About a week ago, I was in a meeting with a group of guys that I've known for a long time, and one of them said, you know, why do I keep talking about Steemit, and what was actually my vision, and what did I actually want to do? And one of the things that I mentioned in this meeting was it was my passion to effectively create the Reddit of the cryptocurrency world and effectively bring all the communities from all the coins onto Steemit. And you know, I think once people understand, if we was able to onboard a whole community, and I'm not talking, you know, hundreds or thousands, I'm talking tens of thousands. If we was able to onboard a whole community in effectively one invitation, I think people will suddenly start realising what would effectively be the potential. So this is a massive big shout out to everybody on the DigiByte community, and I'll share this video on YouTube. I'll then split it onto Steemit and obviously onto Twitter. So if anybody from the DigiByte community is watching this, a massive thank you for supporting my tweets over the last few weeks. It's been absolutely phenomenal, and I really can't thank you guys enough. So big shout out to everybody on Steemit, big shout out to everybody on DigiByte, and hopefully, you know, we can start bringing, you know, the two communities together. Hope you guys are having a great day, and speak to you soon. Cheers guys, bye for now.